Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and now we are in the town of Ost Lontir and helping the people in here. So, a couple things we need to do. First, we'll need to scout the overlooks to the west and east of town, but we also need to find some Corsairs roaming the wild and getting some orders from them. Just to start. Who knows what else we'll need to do after that. But of course at some point we will also need to go to the abandoned elf haven of Edhellond, both for the landscape quest and the epic quest. Aside from a view into the bay, nothing catches your eye. Yeah, totally right. A great view into the bay. So if you don't mind me, don't mind me taking a clear picture of Dol Amroth. It looks huge, doesn't it? I think when this was initially released, this was the biggest town so far. Of course, there was a lot of hype for Gondor. So Rohan had going for it, of course, the open place and the very large spaces it's known for, which they did an admirable job creating Rohan. The entire landscape, the architecture, everything in Rohan is pure eye candy. The best part of it. But, well, Gondor on the other hand has a couple things going for it. On one hand, the sea. From what I remember, the only other chance we had to take a look at the sea was from the ice bay of Imrahil. But it's not the same as the seas in Gondor. Definitely it isn't. You do not see anything unusual here? Okay. So the sea on one hand, and all the seafaring culture Gondor is known for, and also the architecture. And of course Gondor, even if it's in decline, still the greatest kingdom of the Third Age. So at least the greatest kingdom of man in the Third Age. So yeah, the Depths had to also capture that. The grandeur of Gondor, and well, the remnants of glories past as well. And they did so mostly, well, among other things, by having huge hubs. Dol Amroth, yeah, way better than anything we had before. And wait till we get to Minas Tirith, because that totally blows it out of the water. Yeah, Minas Tirith doesn't disappoint at all.
The soldiers of Gondor have all gone to war, and we are left to fend for ourselves.
It is comforting to know that they are not on our doorstep today, but I still fear for what the future holds. You have done me a great service, Beriathan, as simple as it may have been. Wait, what is that? Behind Mildir, you suddenly hear a haystack sneeze. That's not supposed to do that. A child. Suddenly a small laughing child leaps out of the haystack and runs away.
Have you heard the rumors of enemies pressing in from all sides?
Confound that child! If you were a Corsair, you would have... Bah! You have done enough for me, Beriathan. If children are to be the worst of my problems, I shall count myself lucky. Yeah, you should really give Hyalam in Tadrent a lesson in taking things a little bit easier. So whenever you have the chance, totally go to Tadrent, have a talk with him. Maybe then he will stop being such a pain. Because with that attitude, no wonder old people work for him, but he doesn't seem to have that many friends. But well, once again, trying not to be too hard on the guy, as I was discussing on the previous episode. Yeah, the war that has reached Gondor, the pressure, the fear, the anguish. Who knows, maybe in times of peace Hylam is a pleasant man. Why not? Who's to say he is not? Now, we already found the first Corsair spy. Thankfully, we didn't need to look too hard for him, but we still need to find 2 more. Ah, here we have one of those patrols that we were also looking for. Nope. You're not running away. You wanna fight me. Is that clear? Yeah. You wanna fight me. Corsair spies. Yeah, here you are. I wanna fight a goat. Has done nothing to me, so be safe, brother goat or sister goat. Any other patrol around here that you can see? Oh, we're really close to the Elf Haven. Looks fantastic. Not so sure, but I think this is the first time we've had white trees. Not the white tree, but at least white leaf trees. And they look amazing. The contrast with all the green in the area, that really makes them stand out. I mean, watching those white trees, it hits harder. I mean, it makes its point better why they are so special in Tolkien's work. How magical they look. Alright. Second patrol's down. One more spy. Just give me one more spy. I have a feeling patrols should be easier to find. At least you can see them running around. Like that one over there. I just hope I can run faster than them, because this kind of patrols or of groups, organized groups, they run really fast, but it seems we are... Yeah, we were able to reach them. So that leaves one more patrol, one more spy. Oh, a last patrol. Great. So we only need one more spy then. Where can it be? Ah, treasure cache! Awesome, at least we were able to find the second one. Okay, a chest guard and some parchments. Both sound promising. So, let us take the chance to actually equip some of these items that we got during the last couple episodes. Not too fond of this ring. What about the bracelet? I mean, that would be some extra finesse. Yeah, it seems all these are finesse focused. And this is, of course, our old armor. Oh no, this is the one that we just got from the treasure chest. But it doesn't look that appealing to me, so... I think all that will end up in some vendor's chest. The coin in our pocket. Seems like a better deal. Now, spies, this would be a great moment to use a Tome of Kraken if you have one. I don't think I do. That means that we basically need to keep running back and forth until by some miracle we get a hold of one of those Corsair spies. Oh, thank you. Was about to propose getting on my civilian clothes, trying to pretend to be a defenseless Gondorian and see if we had better luck with that. Thankfully, it didn't have to come to that. An Orient parchment, yeah. Gonna be really useful. I'm already Westamnet Scholar, right? Yeah. Yeah, I do need those Orient materials. Eleanor, I have what you wanted. Here.
These are troublesome times indeed.
Good. Maybe now they will be wise enough to keep from the roads and allow our people to pass. Now then, Beriathan, we cannot allow them time to recover from this blow.
Gondor needs your aid.
Aha! These are just what we needed, Beriathan. Look at these. They detail numbers, movements, a Corsair captain named Dolguzîr, and their leadership, all of them mentioning one known as the Scourge. We have all we need now, Beriathan. Let us begin our assault.
Gondor needs your aid.
We have weakened their forces near the beacon. We know their movements, and we know of their leadership. Now is the time to strike at the heart of their force in Edhellond. While you aided me, I sent a scout named Dolvir to observe the Corsairs moored at the Elf Haven. Seek him out, and aid him in raiding the coast of Corsairs. I would not allow that Umbarian filth to lay any further claim to our lands. Go, Beriathan. May we fight alongside one another before this war comes to an end. Alright, so yeah, it seems we will be going to the Elf Haven. Let us grab the epic. So you might remember I was refreshing my memory as well. So after we helped the Galengam's workers in Calenville, yeah, he basically told us, well, Corsairs most likely are landing in Edhellond. Go fight them and try to recover any elven artifacts you can. I will pay you good coin for them. And, well, fighting the Corsairs, at least, sounds like a plan, but looting ancient elven artifacts? I don't know. I wouldn't feel confident doing that. That sounds disrespectful, to say the least. Extremely disrespectful.
How may I help you, friend?
Ah, you must be Beriathan. Gillanor told me you would arrive soon. It will not take you long to see what peril faces Gondor down in the Elf Haven. The Corsairs have moored 3 ships full of men and have pillaged Edhellond to nearly nothing. We must move quickly to save the history here, and even more quickly should we hope to quell the Corsair threat.
These are troublesome times indeed.
The orders you recovered from the Corsair spies mentioned a captain named Dolguzîr. They know that he is stationed in the northmost ship in the bay, but little else of him can be gleaned from these scribbles. Search his ship and draw him forth. Perhaps in his surprise he may reveal more of the Scourge's plan for Gondor. This much is clear. He must be defeated if we are to slow the Corsair's advance. Move with care, Beriathan, for it is unlikely that his position is ill-defended.
How may I help you, friend?
If there is one thing I have learned about these Corsairs, it is that they are never far from a mock. For all the treasures they have stolen from our lands, I do not think anything means more to them than their stores of ale. They seek to pillage Gondor until nothing remains, so I think it fitting that you deprive them of their greatest treasure. Out on their boats, I have seen them drink from hefty barrels of ale. Burn them all, and let us see if their assault does not dwindle within days.
Gondor needs your aid.
The elf harbor of Edhellond has stood for many ages, and though the elves have gone, much of their history remains here in Gondor. When they departed these lands, they left Edhellond deserted, but it has not been forgotten by my people. Many ancient elf relics rest in silence there, but now, with the coming of the Corsairs to Belfalas, I worry greatly for what might be lost. If you can recover any relics from the Corsairs, I would be most grateful. It would sadden me deeply to see them sail away with so much of our history in their keeping. That I feel much more comfortable with, and that is recovering stolen goods, not taking them on my own. No. But no, yeah, getting them back. That seems much more noble, so count me in, Dolvir. Count me in. Now. Now, for the epic. Oh, come on, what now? We can't just enter Edhellond and start fighting left and right all the Corsairs we find. We also need to trigger some sort of discovery. Find some sort of vantage point from which to look down at a place. Survey the land. An elf stands atop the overlook surveying the refuge of Edhellond.
If you are a friend, you are welcome to share my watch.
I would be pleased to have your company, for men of Umbar have brought their ships to shore and threatened Edhellond. My people have not inhabited the refuge for 1,000 years, but we bear enough affection for places once dear that we cannot allow the raiders to remain. If their goal is plunder, they will be disappointed. The only relics that remain will be of historical value only. Any valuable artifacts or jewels were taken long ago. There are others of my people nearby. If you can defeat some of the raiders throughout Edhellond, I will bring you to them. Return hither with any relics you find, and I will be doubly pleased, for I do have an interest in curiosities from my people's history. Yeah, and I do also feel way more comfortable recovering this relics for an elf who has a more solid claim to them than a merchant from Gondor. Now, something really interesting here. This, of course, is a place from which all the Corsairs are spilling into West Gondor, and you can see from this road over here that goes north, that's the road to Tarlanc's Neck and the Blackroot Vale. So, considering Tarlanc's Neck is the high-level area of West Gondor, the hardest place in West Gondor, it's kind of neat, and I hadn't realized before this kind of visual storytelling, yeah? How much sense it makes for the Corsairs to go both north and east. And that explains why Tarlanc's crown is so well defended. Not only its geography lends itself for that kind of defenses to be set up, but it's also really close to the place from which the enemy is trying to claim the land. So the Depths did a really good one. I mean, every single minute I spent in West Gondor, I come to appreciate it more and more. While exploring the ancient elf harbor of Edhellond, you have encountered a substantial force of Corsairs. They must be defeated before they can pillage more of Gondor's history and bring more harm to the people of Gondor. Oh my god. How much has it been since last time we heard this tune? Angmar, at the very least. With all the enemies running around here, I don't think I will have enough time to just stop, take a couple pictures. I would really love to get a picture standing next to a white tree, but it seems really difficult on my current conditions. So hopefully by the time I am over leveled on this area, I will remember to come back and grab the picture I want. Okay, we need to explore some of the places in Edhellond. I seem to remember that too, so we cannot just go straight to the North Ship and fight a captain. Well, we technically can, but that would be of little use. Dying elf? My god. I'm coming. All right there. The buildings along the southern court are intact, but empty. Alright. You see, I can barely grab all the quest items and crafting goods around the place. I don't think I can stop and take the pictures I want from here. I don't think I'm not gonna even try. You okay?
Will you lend me your ear?
I did not expect to find any aid here. And until I know your intentions, I still do not know what to expect, man. My time grows short, and there is no chance to return to the cave. To see what these men have done to Edhellond saddens me deeply, but I cannot change that now. All I can ask for now is to look out upon the Great Bay one last time. Aid me in climbing the tower over there, and you would do me a great last honor.
My heart cannot sing today.
Whenever you are ready, we can depart, man. I do not think you will have trouble keeping up with me. So which one is the tower you want to climb? I would say this one to the left, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. Whatever tower it is, I just hope that that's also the tower we need to scout for the epic. 2 birds, 1 stone. I mean, it's not a big deal if it isn't. But it would be nice if that were the case. The tallest tower at Edhellond once kept watch over the sea. Yeah, so it was the place we needed to look for. And I also want to take a look at the base, so... you have come far enough, my friend. Yeah. Glad that you now realize I am your friend. Shame about all these Corsair ships, they are really ruining the view.
Grey is the shadow upon my heart.
Thank you, my friend. Now, if it is not too much to ask, I desire to spend my final moments in peace. Leave me here, and may your deeds today never be forgot. Agility, vitality, faith, finesse, no. Well, I'm glad we were able to accompany you to this place. Oh, it disappeared. I guess Mandos was really fast with him. Maybe. Alright, we need to explore the northwest dock. And that seems to be the dock. Yeah, where the captain is located. So once again, the epic is doing a quick job at guiding us through the place. Corsair ships have more than the docks of Edhellond. Yeah, a lot. You have defeated many of the Corsairs in Edhellond. Although the Corsair forces continue to make landfall, you have slowed their assault on the havens of Belfalas and aided in the protection of Dol Amroth. You appear to have discovered where all of the missing and stolen supplies from Blackroot Vale and Tadren have finally washed up. The Corsairs of Umbar have ferried the goods down the rivers Blackroot and Ringlow to their ships in the bay. You should recover them and return them to Dolvir. How many do we need to? Just 4 crates? Ah, but 6 barrels, so... And we also need to burn the barrels of ale, so a lot of barrel picking today. Well, at least they have different models. Treasure chest, that should be for, yeah, summoning Dolguzîr. Hands off! Wait, I know you. You're the man that Jajax is so fond of. I'll have your hand. So it seems Jajax has already come all this way. Jajax is a fool to fight at your side. His disgrace shall not weaken us. No, you are already weak on your own. You don't need anyone else weakening you. Gotta check a couple more of these docks to find the remaining goodies. And pulling the entire camp while doing so, it seems. Yeah, the entire Corsair camp. Let them come. Not afraid of them. Yeah, watching that kind of domino effect, all of them falling one after the other, always satisfying. And now, the stolen barrels and the ale barrels. Hopefully I will be able to complete them all on this ship. If not, well, the other ship is already really close. But if I can save me the visit to that one, I don't think I can. Yeah, not enough barrels in here. But once again, keep pressing to the south, pulling every single map. Wasn't that hard. Seems that's it. Okay. Talk to Dolvir. Most likely all of them will be talking to Dolvir. That's it. Any heavy adorned chest? No. But they are all on the way. We have already cleared the way, it seems to. I don't think we missed anyone. They were also eager to stumble upon us. Oh, we missed one. or if none of them are heavy chests, I much rather, well, leave this place before all of them respawn. Not that they are any hard. Just wanna move along. Yeah, we can technically go north to Tarlank's Crown, and we're basically on level for it. I mean, we're not at the great disadvantage we had when we came to Tarlank's Crown from the north, from the Blackroot Vale. Now, at least, it is doable.
It always warms the heart to meet a new friend in these dangerous days.
We do not have enough warriors to cast the Corsairs into the sea, but your efforts in the refuge have told them that even an abandoned refuge is never truly forgotten by the Elves.
I am Lathlorn, and I am proud to count myself among the Avorrim.
It is time for me to introduce myself properly, my friend. I am Lathlorn, and I am proud to count myself among the Avorrim. We were tasked by Círdan the shipwright with maintaining a watch on Edhellond, and have done now for some time, removing overgrown brush and keeping the paths clear, and ensuring that the docks remain free of debris. If the havens of Midland become untenable, this would be the last place from which my people could depart this Middle-earth for the Undying Lands. The men of Umbar that occupy Edhellond do us a grievous turn, and do not even know of it. Dorthaneth is the leader of the Avorrim, and you can find her in the cave where we reside for now. If you follow the road southwest on the way to Dol Amroth, you will come to a rocky cleft in the ground to your right. Follow it down to a cliffside path over the water, and you will come to the entrance. Tell Dorthaneth of your experiences in this land, for she has a wisdom about her, and has proven a capable leader of the Avorrim for as long as I have known her. So there we go. First time, I don't remember how much it struck me the first time I did this place. That there were elves in West Gondor, but well, I read and reread a lot of Tolkien's work since then, and Lathlorn's explanation, of course, makes a lot of sense. Because from what I remember, this is the place from which Legolas and Gimli depart Middle-earth after the end of the books.
These are troublesome times indeed.
Ah, thank you, Beriathan. It looks as if some of these traveled quite a distance, maybe even down the Blackroot. Nevertheless, I am glad to see them out of the hands of the enemy. I still have them sent to Dol Amroth. I shall have them sent to Dol Amroth.
Gondor needs your aid.
Ha! You need not tell me of what you have done, Beriathan. It was truly a joy to behold. I have never seen them fall into such disarray before today. Let them learn well that the men of Gondor know exactly where to strike.
These are troublesome times indeed.
I am glad to hear of Dolguzîr's defeat, for it means that the Corsairs will be without a leader, at least for the moment. We have slowed their assault, but I fear that is all that can be done for now. I wonder if the Scourge will take notice of what we have done here. Let us hope we are better prepared when he finally decides to reveal himself. When you have done all you wish to do here in Edhellond, return to Gielinor. I know he has great plans for you, Beriathan.
Gondor needs your aid.
I am glad you could recover these, Beriathan. I do not think of them as belonging to my people either, but I would prefer to keep them from the Corsairs. When we finally push them from our lands, I will see these relics return to Edhellond. You have my thanks. Well, I'm also glad to see we see eye to eye on this regard as well, and that we are not that you don't plan to keep those relics for yourself. We are about 2-3 minutes from using the milestone once again, so I think we're actually gonna ride there. It would be faster than waiting 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, we're basically there already. So much different from Rohan, I cannot believe it. I do remember at first, the first time I played through West Gondor and all the subsequent regions, I was a little disappointed to see it was not bigger. I was expecting Gondor to be as big as Rohan, of course, maybe even bigger, and, well, with the episodic nature of all the Gondor releases, it didn't seem so at the time, but now that's another story. Now that you can go all the way from Dol Amroth to Minas Tirith and beyond, that's a different story for sure.
These are troublesome times indeed.
Ah, you have returned, Beriathan. Am I to assume that you and Dolvir found success in Edhellond? Come then, let us talk of more present matters. You may yet be of great use to Gondor. Well, I already was before I left Minas Tirith, and I am still great service to Gondor. I will not be, I already am. Just to be clear.
How may I help you, friend?
You have done much to aid us, Beriathan. So much so that I wish for you to travel to Dol Amroth. The people there would be well served to have a skillful man at their side. The city is a wonder all its own, and if you have never visited it, prepare yourself. It is my opinion that you would be hard-pressed to find a place of greater beauty in Gondor, save perhaps Minas Tirith. Not perhaps, save Minas Tirith, if I may say so myself. I have said enough of the city, it is time you saw it for yourself. Go and seek a guard near the eastern gate. I can hardly keep up with all the postings lately, so simply tell them I send you. Yeah, Dol Amroth is our next step, but first and foremost, well, the cave of the Avorrim is much more closer, so that's where we're headed first. But of course, Dol Amroth is not gonna be too far behind. So if you're only doing the epics, you will most likely take this road that converges from this one out of Ost Lontir, and here is the path Lathlorn told us about. Really easy to miss if you are going on a worsted as fast as you can. And well, it has a lot of twists and turns. I mean, if you pass it and then you try to jump from up top, I don't remember if you can survive that. The entrance to a cave yawns in the cliffside to your left, the hideout of the Avorrim. And as you can see here, well, they have this place well protected with their barricades and all. But it's still kind of a harsh look to see the elves setting up that kind of defenses. I was not expecting that. Seems more fit of the man of Rohan during the Battle of the Glittering Caves than of elves. So I guess this comes to show how desperate their situation is. Because of course they cannot settle in Edhellond, and so they need to do with what they can find. This cave is the home of the Avorrim in this land. Do no harm here or pay the price. Well, I mean do no harm. There is no need for those kind of warnings. Dorthaneth, okay. An elf mate stands on the bridge, deep in thought. And what's the deal with the veil? Are you gonna explain that to me?
I am called Dorthaneth, and I have chosen to care for the Avorrim.
Welcome to Belfalas, Beriathan. I am called Dorthaneth, and I have chosen to care for the elves here as a mother does. They are the Avorrim, and they have come to this land to watch over the refuge of Edhellond and keep it safe from danger. Danger threatens it now, as you have seen. Men of Umbar have come ashore in great number, too many for my few Avorrim to drive away. A guest has lately arrived, and we just spoke about these raiders. Go to him and hear what he has to say, for his news signals travel for the Avorrim and for the folk of Gondor as well. Do you see him across the way? His name is Galdor, and he's lately arrived from Imladris. What a nice surprise, Galdor. Yeah, I see him. But what about you, Dorthaneth?
I'm glad you have come to the cave of the Avorrim.
I am glad you have come to the cave of the Avorrim, Beriathan, for with the dawn came messages from afar, and one of these concerns you directly. The Lady of Lorien speaks in cryptic words, but I can discern enough to know that you will be able to interpret her wishes. Lady Galadriel speaks of a Gondorian man on an errand he believes important. It has drawn him into the dead marshes by the battle plain of old, and his feet are dogged by the servants of the enemy. The Lady of Lorien does not need to express her desire in words for me to know what drives this message. She does not want this Gondorian man to draw the attention of the orcs to this place. The Avorrim keep several fast horses for their personal use, but none so swift as that cared for by our master of horses. Speak to him and ride to the dead marshes with all the speed you can muster, and hasten this Gondorian back to his homelands before he causes great harm by his presence there. Okay, so this places us in a kind of a crossroad of sorts. Because that horse, as you have seen, will take us to the Dead Marshes and the interlude of Book 14 that deals with that place and Frodo's quest in the marshes. But if you ask me, it doesn't matter how fast your horse is. It doesn't make any sense for us to be right next to Dol Amroth and make all the way to the Dead Marshes and then back. Considering the moment in the story that we are living, like, you truly expect me to believe that we're gonna pass right next to Minas Tirith and do nothing about it? So in my opinion, in order for this to add up, of course, we have received these tidings from Galadriel, and we do need to go to the Dead Marshes. But we will actually visit the Dead Marshes and advance this quest when it makes sense for us geographically to do so. So that means after we cross to Minas Tirith and North Edhellond and finally come to the Wastes, there is a location in which the Wastes connects with the Dead Marshes, and that's when we will advance this. What I'm not sure about, if you need to use the horse in this cave to actually advance the quest, but there is a workaround for that issue. I'm not gonna worry about that for now. Suffice it to say, yeah, Lady Galadriel has sent word we need to go to the marshes and stop that Gondorian from doing whatever he is doing, and well, we'll learn more about that and fit this into the story when we meet him. For now, let us just talk to Galdor, who has come all the way from Rivendell.
I know your face, for I came to Imladris some months ago and saw you there.
A council was held and many courses decided, but we will not speak of them here. Know that I hold you in esteem and consider you an ally, and we bear friends in common. It is that sense of kinship that drives me to tell you this. Do not underestimate a Corsair threat. I gave Dorthaneth the same warning. In my journey here I came near to a group of Umbar men and overheard their talk. They spoke in reverent tones of the heirs of Castamir and the Scourge, but it is not these names that fill me with anxiety. No, the flame of my concern is kindled by the passion with which the Umbar men spoke of their loyalty. Any of them would die in the name of the heirs, and gladly, which is not a trait I have heard associated with that people before now. Something has changed. I will set out for Midland in a few days, but do not forget my warning. Okay, the Master of Horses? Well, we need to talk to the Master of Horses to actually advance that quest. And I thank you for the offer, Master of Horses, but I don't think I'm gonna take your steed. and it's not a big deal, since the Wastes is a level 105 area and this is a level 100 quest. We're really not missing that much in terms of XP.
If it is the wish of Dorthaneth.
If it be Dorthaneth's wish for you to depart in such haste, I will not stand in your way. The seeds of the Avorrim may give even the fabled Mearas a close race, if you want to know my opinion. Ride swiftly and at once if it is the wish of Dorthaneth. Alright. So, once again, not sure if we need to take that horse mandatory or if we can just cross to the marshes by other means and still get credit for it. But still, there are turnarounds for that. And we'll worry about that when we get to that point.
Gondor is right to worry. The men of Umbar have not possessed loyalty like this for years.
And it was once believed their people would decline and no longer pose a threat to their neighbors across the bay. I do not believe these heirs of Castamir are truly descended from that king, but I have paid little attention to the histories of Gondor and could not say for certain. The lives of men are brief. Before many a season has passed they fall like the leaves of the trees in my home. I have never recorded either. Dorthaneth is silent for a long time, and you have almost decided to leave her in peace when she speaks again. I would be content to remain alone, listening to the sound of the water falling and the sighing of the wind in the trees. But as long as the Avorrim must remain here, I will care for and protect them. There are others too with whom I feel a kinship and would safeguard.
Go to Dol Amroth and give Lothíriel my warning.
You must think I speak of leaving the world to its troubles, but even I, with every reason to do so before me, cannot truly withdraw. I have grown fond of Lothíriel, the daughter of the Prince of Dol Amroth, who rules now in his absence. On several occasions she has escaped the watchful eyes of her guard, and come to visit me outside the walls of the fair city. The matters of which we spoke? Not war, nor armies, nor weapons. They were matters of love and of marriage, for Lothíriel is betrothed to a man she does not wish to marry. Such things are a lady's concerns, and I counselled her on them as best I could. But now, I must counsel her on these other concerns as well. Weapons and armies and war. I echo the worry of Galdor. She must not underestimate the heirs of Castamir and the one they call the Scourge. Lothíriel's father has been called to war in the east, but war finds her now in the west, and if either is lost, there will be no hope for the other when the night has come. Go to Dol Amroth and give her my warning. There is elvish blood in her line, but it is no sense of kinship that drives me in this. It is the love I bear for the dark-haired woman who spoke to me of her hopes and her fears when the moon was high over the sea and banished sadness for a time. So, yeah, this stop in the Cave of the Avorrim was a really short one. We got to meet Galdor, which was really nice, a really Easter egg, if you will, from the devs. But I think the main objective of having this place was really just directing us to the interlude. Now, this interlude was not released at the same time as this area. It was added after the fact. But I still believe the devs knew they would be releasing this interlude soon, and that's why they included the caves and this quick stop here during the epic. But that was it basically for these caves. So I think we can ride. It seems kinda suicidal trying to ride the worsted across this ridge, but we can try. And if we are careful, we shouldn't have any troubles. And as long as we're back on the road, we'll hit full speed, of course. So yeah, the eastern entrance will work for both the epic and the landscape quest. So there is really no need to go to the west side. Not yet, at least. I didn't expect to be able to come to Dol Amroth this early, to be honest with you. I thought it was gonna take a little bit longer. Still surprised at how fast we've done all the content in West Gondor so far. You have come to the entrance to the docks of Dol Amroth. Alright. No, I think we're gonna stop here, because right after, these quests flow chained with each other, so right after we talk to the guard, I will feel the need to explore the city, and we don't have time for that today. So yeah, this is gonna be the episode, the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one when we finally meet the city of Prince Imrahil. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.